Hi, my name is Amit Desai and welcome to Lightroom Preset Shop. In this video, I am going to show you how to make the most out of black and white workflow presets. There's no denying the fact that black and white presets or black and white effects make our images have that evergreen, classic and timeless look. Because there's a huge demand for black and white presets and there are so many photographers who love the look and the feel of film emulation kind of black and white presets, we've created specifically black and white workflow presets which we are absolutely proud of. There's nothing in the market that even comes close to the kind of workflow presets, especially these black and white workflow presets that we've created. And today we will show you a demo, a live demo of what you can do with this black and white workflow presets. So before we begin, let me first of all show you how do we go about installing these black and white workflow presets. The way you go about doing that is, after having purchased a black and white workflow presets, you need to download and unzip the workflow presets file for the black and white workflow presets. So we have already downloaded the zip file on our desktop. Let us minimize Lightroom, and here on our desktop you will find LRPS black and white presets zip file. So if you're on a Mac, simply double click on this file, and if you're on Windows, right click on this file, and from the drop down menu simply choose the unzip option. And all you need to make sure is you need to unzip that file on your desktop, so then you can easily access it and install the black and white workflow presets onto your system. So now that we have this LRPS BNW presets folder on our desktop, which is the unzipped folder, just simply double click on that and you will find two files inside this folder. One is the plus LRPS BNW presets. This is the entire presets folder, and then we have the readme file or the installation notes file, which gives a complete breakup of how to go about installing these presets. So if you are less of a visual learner, or if you don't like videos and you just want to have a readme document, you can go through this and install the presets. But for now, what we'll be doing is we'll go to this folder, and all we need to do is simply right click on the folder, that is the plus LRPS BNW presets, and simply choose copy from the drop down menu. Once you've done that, we go back into Lightroom, and now if you're on a Mac, choose the Lightroom menu, and if you're on Windows, choose the edit menu, and below each of these respective menus you will find the preferences option. So click on the preferences option. Once you are inside the preferences menu dialog box, you will find various different tabs on the top. That is the general tab, the presets tab, and so on and so forth. Make sure the presets tab is active or selected, and inside the presets tab choose the show Lightroom presets folder option. Once you do that, immediately Lightroom will locate inside your machine or your system exactly that Lightroom folder where all your different presets live. So this is the folder that is the most important folder for us to install all the presets. Today we are going to be installing a black and white develop preset. So we want to look out for the develop presets folder, which is over here. Click on this, and now inside this folder simply right click and choose paste item to paste the entire folder inside of the develop presets folder. You can also use a keyboard shortcut, that is Ctrl V if you're on Windows and Command V if you're on a Mac. I won't be doing that here because we already have the workflow presets installed on our machine. So now that you pasted that file, simply close this dialog box, close this window, and close this dialog box as well. And now inside of Lightroom, once the Lightroom application is active, you will still not see the black and white presets like how you see here. You still won't see these presets appear, because what you need to first do is you need to first quit the application Lightroom and restart that application once again. So here we go into Lightroom and choose quit Lightroom to quit from Lightroom, and now we open Lightroom again. And now that you've done that, if you pasted the presets file right inside of the develop presets, you will see the plus LRPS BNW presets folder right inside the presets panel on the left hand side. If all the presets are not shown, maybe this entire folder of presets is closed. To open that, simply click on this triangle and it will expand into all the presets. And here you see all the Lightroom black and white workflow presets which we have curated, researched and completely perfected in-house in our studio, and we use it for all our black and white imagery. I am so excited to show you this because once you see the kind of workflow system that we've created, it's so natural, it's so intuitive, completely stackable one on top of the other, just like all our workflow presets. So let us dive right inside and see exactly how the black and white workflow preset structure is organized. And let me show you the structure of how we've created different categories of presets that you can stack one on top of the other to create unique looks and stylizations to give your images that vintagey and classy, evergreen, timeless look that we all love and that our clients completely adore and enjoy. So let's get started. The way this preset system is organized is we have firstly the black and white styles. These are different black and white styles which are a starting point of our preset workflow system. Then we have the foundation presets. These presets, what they do is they simply add different variations of highlights and shadows and whites and blacks to give your image a good foundation or a good base to build on. So we have the black and white styles to start the whole processing of black and white. Then we apply the foundational presets to make the base better, and then we have the black and white tones which impart tonal effects that give it a different monochromatic look that we all simply love. Then interspersed across these groups are cinematic filmic grains. So if you wish at any point in time to add a filmic grain to your image to give it that filmic kind of a grainy look that is very akin to film emulation and old non-digital film assets, then you can use these cinematic film grain presets interspersed randomly across different groups, which make a lot of sense and which adds convenience to your entire workflow. Then after our black and white tones, we have different washes and fades and mattes and punches, just like other workflow presets. We also have softening presets or noise reduction presets. What happens is when we turn a color photograph into a black and white or a monochromatic image, sometimes the noise inside of the photo gets more apparent and sometimes it actually adds to the photo. Most of the times black and white photos look really beautiful with a little bit of grain, film sort of a emulation grain inside. But if it's a little too much, then we can even soften or reduce the noise from the image by using these presets. We do have clarity presets that add increasing levels of clarity to the image. We have contrast presets that increase the contrast to the image. We have sharpening presets. Then we do have lens vignetting presets which are increasing in their intensity and level so that we can even close an image and drive the focus or attention of the viewer to a specific subject inside of the image. We do have monocolor presets. So if you just want that monocolor kind of a look wherein only one particular color, say just red or yellow or blue or green, is visible and rest of the whole image is black and white, we can do that as well, which was popular at one point in time, especially with wedding photographers who used to, in order to give focus to the flower bouquet that the bride is holding, especially of the red roses. It was extremely popular with the photography community that they used to simply keep the red roses red and the rest of the entire image black and white. So if you are into those sort of effects, you can use these presets. Then we have stylizations, which with the black and white filters give absolutely unlimited looks, which you will see right now when I demonstrate to you. Right now when you are hovering over the stylizations, you can see them in different color stylizations. But if you have the black and white tones and styles applied and then you apply the stylizations, they beautifully stack together cohesively to give it a unique, timeless, old filmic kind of a look to evoke different emotions. So this is how the stylizations can give your photos a different emotion or a feel. And we then have the haze presets to reduce reduce or increase the haze in the image. We also have smart contrast. Trust me, this is something that you've not seen in any of the presets that you might have purchased from any of the vendors, because smart presets increases the contrast in a very intelligent and dynamic way, and it's not basically increasing the blacks and increasing the highlights or increasing exposure or adding more contrast or adding more clarity. It's something totally different. And when you add smart contrast, it adds an intelligent definition of contrast to the image. And then finally, we also have the different Noir collection or Noir collection, depending on how you pronounce it. These presets are extremely old film emulations which create this Noir kind of a feel and look to your images. So there you have it. We have all these different presets that add and stack one on top of the other and create unique looks that can create your signature styles, and you can use these styles by stacking all these presets in different combinations and create unlimited number of looks that you cannot even dream of. Before I forget, I also need to add that just like all our preset systems, we have the reset presets inside of these presets as well. So you have the reset preset that resets only that category of presets all throughout our structure, so everything can be taken care of at one go. And that's how powerful and how amazing the system can help you do every single thing that you can dream of. So let's get started with the first image that you can see right here in front of you. Let's start with a monochromatic style. How about a black and white style, say monochrome 5. This looks really nice. And then let's add a little bit of grain as well. So how about we add cinematic filmic grain double pluses, so that it's adding more grain and making it look a little more old, aged and vintage kind of a look. Then let's add a foundation preset. So how about we add foundation 3 preset, and then let us add a little bit of cinematic grain to give it that authentic kind of a look. So here we go. Now let's add a wash or a neutral wash to this photo and see what we can do. Let's add this neutral wash too. The neutral wash gives this a little bit of a matte kind of a faded aged kind of a look that goes well with the filmic grain and the cinematic grain that we've added. So this gives it that slight bit of a matte powdery kind of a look. Let's add a bit of clarity. So to do that, let's use clarity 2. Then let's also increase a bit of contrast. So how about we going for contrast 2? Yes, that looks good. Then let's also sharpen the image a bit. So let's go for sharpen 2. It adds a little bit of sharpening which is not perceptible right here, but if you were to print this image, it would appear a lot more sharper with this preset than without it. And let us close this image with a little bit of additional lens vignetting. As you know, a little bit of lens vignetting anyways happens when we add foundation preset, which is very little and extremely subtle, but I want to close this image even further. So let's add, say, lens vignetting plus. This closes the image and draws the viewer's attention to the center of the image where the majority of the action lies in. And finally, to finish off this image, let's reduce a bit of haze as well from the image. So how about we go with haze 125 haze. This is reducing haze by many levels. This preset is reducing haze by 5 levels. So with just a few clicks, we were able to go from this to this and create this beautiful old aged grainy cinematic vintagey look to the photo. Can you actually see the sheer power of the system? Let's go to the next image, and for this image let us start with a monochrome black and white style. So how about we go with monochrome 2, and now with the style let us add a foundation to that preset. So how about we go with foundation 3. Now let us add a little bit of cinematic filmic grain. Let's go with this one, a little grain, because I think this image is good enough with just this amount of grain. And finally, let's also dull and darken this image by adding a dark wash. I think a dark wash will really enhance and further take this image to the next level. So how about we go with dark wash 1. Let's even close this image with a little bit of additional lens vignetting. So how about we go with the lens vignetting plus. And finally, let us add a stylization to this photo as well. So now all these color stylizations which I was talking about will not have that color element because you already stylized it as black and white. So these styles that are getting applied to this preset are all single tone or duotone black and white filters that create all the magic. So how about we go with Primrose Fashion. This effect goes perfectly with the photo. It completely changes the mood and the feel and the emotion behind this photo. This is how we were able to change our image from this to this. Here's the before and here's the after. So let's go to image number 3 now, and let me show you what we can do to this image. So let us start as always with the black and white style. So how about we choose, say, monochrome 4. This has a more contrasty feel which adds to the photo and the image. And let's go for some kind of a very strong contrasty HDR grungy kind of a look. So how about we go with this? Can you see how immediately this is getting more HDR, but it's still natural? It is increasing the contrast and opening up the photo and making it look more 3D like HDR, but it's not looking fake like how most fake or faux-pas HDRs look. After applying a foundation preset, how about we add a punch, because that will enhance the strength of the foundation preset. So how about we go with a neutral punch 2. This is further giving it a lot more crunch and punch to the photo. And then let's close this photo with a lens vignetting preset. How about we go with lens vignetting plus. And then finally, and I think for this photo, a noir look or a noir look in whichever part of the world you live in, a noir look is going to be really beautiful and is really going to add to this image. So let us try to go for, say, the foundation 11 preset for Noah. Whoa, can you see how beautiful the photo looks now? It's added a little bit of a matte powdery kind of a look which is very akin to these Noah looks. Yes, the Noah looks also sometimes do have these matte and faded and wash kind of preset that can completely change how the photo looks and how the photo feels. So from a punchy look, we went a little matte because I somewhere felt that the matte feel will go a little bit better with this kind of a photograph. So with just a few clicks, we were able to go from this to this. Can you see the difference? Can you see how these presets beautifully stack one on top of the other and create amazing, innumerable, thousands of different looks? It simply blows my mind whenever I showcase and demonstrate what this preset system can do. Trust me, it's magical. Let's go to the next image, that's image 4 in our collection. Let us start with a monochrome look. So how about we go with monochrome 1? And with this, let us add a foundation preset. So how about we add a slight HDR but not a complete HDR kind of a look. So let's add foundation 5, and then let us add a little bit of grain as well. So how about we go with Filmic Grain plus, because I think this photo needs a little bit of additional grain to accentuate the age and the vintagey look to the photo. So we've added grain now. Now let us add some kind of a sepia look to the photo, because I think sepia will look really nice and go very well with this photograph. So let's add sepia. And now with the sepia tone, let us also go for a neutral wash. So how about we go with neutral wash 2. Can you see how beautiful this matte washed look looks? And now with that taken care of, let's add some clarity and contrast to the photo. So how about we add clarity 2 and contrast 2. This is creating more contrast between the brights and the darks, giving this photo a little more definition. And finally, let's add some stylization. So let us try for whoa, this is just perfect. The burnt gold is going so perfectly with this image. So there you have it. Just with few clicks, we were able to completely transform the image altogether. So we've gone from this to this, this to this. Here's the before and here's the after. Now let's go on to the final image and let us experiment a little with this particular image. I know that this is a very beautiful color image, but what can you really do by applying some different experimental black and white filters and effects to this photo? Let's see that. So let's start off with a monochrome, say 3, and let's also add a foundation preset. How about we go with a foundation 8 or HDR4 kind of a preset? Can you see now it's adding a lot of more definition because it's a more of a HDR kind of a look. So with the foundation filter applied, let's go for a dark wash. So how about we go with, say, dark wash 1. Yes, I think it looks good. Let's add some clarity and contrast to define this look a bit better. So we add some clarity and contrast, and let's even close this image with some lens vignetting. So let's add some lens vignetting. Now let us see what we can do by applying these mono colors, and let's see how we can enhance and accentuate only certain color in the image. So if we use only reds, only the chairs get into focus and rest every single thing in the image is black and white. If we click on only yellows, because we are clicking on presets inside the same category, that is the mono color category, every time we click on a preset inside the same category, the earlier preset gets overwritten, and this is how we stack one preset on top of the other and create completely unique looks throughout our workflow. Isn't that powerful? So with only yellows, only the yellows inside of the image will be in color. Rest of the entire image will be black and white. By clicking on only blues, you see that only the blues is highlighted, rest everything is black and white, and only greens will highlight only the greens in the image. So here you can see, and even these coconut trees have a little bit of color in them, but I would say that only reds really enhances, or even only blues is something that is enhancing the photo, but only reds is what I personally like for this image. And with only reds selected, let us now add a stylization. If you have seen, only reds is a different category and stylization is a different category. So only reds will be retaining, we won't be overwriting that, and we will add a different stylization. So how about we go with creme biscuit. The creme biscuit is something that I'm really liking with this image because it goes well with the reds. It's kind of the same family, but not really that. So it's still creating that kind of a mono color look, and at the same time it is retaining the vintagey feel to the photo. And now let's finish off this image by reducing the haze a bit. So by doing that, we've gone from something as beautiful as this to something as classic and timeless, and at the same time beautiful as this. So here's the before and here's the after. So there you have it. This is what the mono color or the black and white preset workflow system can do for you. It can completely revolutionize your black and white photography workflow to a whole new level, and this is the de facto or the industry standard workflow preset system if you're into black and whites. If you are a person who loves old film looks, then I would certainly recommend you go for this. All these presets are just like every other preset of ours. These are all scientifically designed presets. We have the most advanced black and white preset stacking workflow system on the market. This preset system will allow you to create thousands of unique black and white vintage looks that will help evoke powerful emotions by stacking different presets one on top of the other, and it will help you to create your very own signature looks. The black and white workflow presets work absolutely great on both JPEG files and RAW files, just like every other workflow system of ours. Even the black and white workflow preset system works great on Adobe Lightroom 4, 5, 6 and Adobe Lightroom CC. So you're covered if you are on any of the Lightroom versions above Lightroom 4. And finally, we will, just like all our preset products, we will be providing lifetime updates to our black and white workflow preset system until and unless there's a major Lightroom process version updates. So you will be getting lifetime updates to a black and white workflow preset system every single time we do something new, we add something, or we improve our presets, or we fine tune our presets, or we find a better way of making this preset system a little more intuitive. But if Adobe Lightroom makes a major Lightroom process version update, then probably if you are an existing customer, we will certainly give you a good deal or a good discount because you already purchased our product before. This is going to be your de facto workflow system if you are into any kind of black and white imagery. In fact, if you love black and whites, this is the product that you simply cannot afford to miss. That's it for now, guys. I hope that you loved the demo and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Bye for now and happy editing.